Home Radio, good afternoon. Cessna 2962 Delta at Yukon 1500 inbound with Golf.
Cessna 2962 Delta, Home Radio, good afternoon. Traffic station here just departed southbound. Additional traffic is back taxiing for south departure. And there's also traffic on the lake getting ready to depart. Wind 2006.
Copy, 62 Delta, thanks.
Okay, so for those of you who don't know what a flight service station is already, you really got to get on the ground school at flyatmikealpha.com, and we'll tell you about it, what it is. But we're also going to show you a tour of a flight service station in this video. So we'll take you up into the flight service station in Homer, Alaska. They used to be all over airports all over the United States. Because of funding issues, they've kind of cut it back a little bit. But we'll show you what it looks like on the inside, and also talk with an actual flight service briefer and learn what their pet peeves are that pilots do, get some tips from them of what we should do, where we should call up, and how to interact with flight service, as well as all the services available from the flight service station. So how does this compare to like a Class D tower?
The main difference is that this is an uncontrolled airport.
Mm-hmm.
It's not uncontrolled airspace. It's a Class Echo surface area, but we're not a control tower.
Mm-hmm.
We are a flight service station, so we do not provide separation.
Gotcha. So just advisories and...
Correct. Advisories and also pilot weather briefings and flight plans.
Do you get a lot of guys that come in that don't have radios or don't talk on the radio, or?
Not a lot.
Mm-hmm.
There's some that don't talk to us at all, and it is not required.
Mm-hmm.
It's a good idea when there's a lot of traffic. It really is. And some pilots just call traffic.
Yep.
And that's fine too. They're not required to talk to us, but I recommend it.
Mm-hmm.
Because then kind of everybody, it's kind of information gets consolidated.
Sure. So what would be like the proper phraseology if you're over like 60-foot rock or something and you wanted to, you know, call home a radio?
Actually, when do you guys prefer to be called? How far out?
Yeah, that's a very good question. And I would say, you know, on a good VFR day, probably between 10 and 5 miles out.
Okay.
And so what I recommend the pilots say is that you say home radio and your call sign, your position, I'm 6 to the northeast, and your intentions inbound for runway 22. And then you will also say, if you have listened to the AFIS, if you have listened to the recorded information with the weather and whatever else is pertinent, then you would let us know that you have that information, so we don't have to give it to you again. And then we would give you traffic advisory. And if we don't know of any traffic, we will let you know that we don't have any traffic. Now, also, Beluga Lake is just over the trees over there. It's a floatplane base.
Mm-hmm.
And so they talk to us as well.
Okay.
So we have the runway and then the floatplanes over there as well.
What do you guys have as far as like radar or anything like that? Do you have?
We don't have any radar.
Okay.
Yeah.
So it's just pilot self-announcing. What if, for like students, if they're on a cross country and they get lost?
Yeah, we can provide lost aircraft services. We can help them find their way. We can do a VOR orientation.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of people have GPS nowadays.
Mm-hmm.
So it makes it less likely for someone to get lost, but sometimes the batteries die.
Yep.
And then it depends on what kind of navigational equipment they have. It can get a little tricky.
Gotcha.
But Anchorage Center has radar. They can't really see anyone. I think that's below 5,000 feet.
Okay, because of the mountains and everything.
Yeah, just correct. I'm not sure how it affects the coverage, but if someone is lost and they can maintain VFR and they can go above 5,000 and they have a transponder with load C, they could, for example, squawk the emergency code, and then Anchorage Center could see if they see them on their radar.
Awesome.
So that's another way to like find the lost aircraft.
So do you guys use anything like shrimp boats then, or like how do you keep track of everyone in the pattern and everyone?
Everybody does a little bit different. I write everything down.
So it's just all kind of...
It's, we used to have strips.
Mhm.
These are kind of pseudo strips. You know, they're
Gotcha.
just notes, and it's not anything official. But then we also keep we have a computer to help us, so
Mhm.
we keep track of that.
Awesome.
November 883 Homer Radio. Good afternoon. Traffic is a Cessna. I believe he's still in the pattern. Touching the landings, runway 22. Or actually, it looks like he might be on the gravel now.
Okay, we just off the queue and break traffic, just on the gravel, we would depart. Now are you taxiing? Taxi, go ahead. Okay, I'll just jump on the pavement, go past you, thank you.
There you go. They're talking to each other.
Yeah.
Good.
So it's kind of a team effort, so they use you guys, and then they also just kind of work among themselves.
Yeah, pilots have responsibility for separation in VFR conditions. If it's IFR conditions, that's a whole other ballgame. Then, an ATC clearance is required.
Gotcha.
So, and then they can't just come in and do whatever they want.
So will you guys... You'll give the actual clearances, and will you activate the IFR flight plan form, or is there an RCO for center out here?
There is, but while we are open, it goes through us. So
Okay.
we don't actually issue the clearance, we relay the clearance.
Gotcha.
Anchorage Center has, they're in charge, so they give us the authority to relay clearance.
Okay, and so you relay the clearance, they get the squawk code, they get the instructions for departure,
Exactly.
and then as far as being released for departure, center releases them and you relay that to them that they've been released for departure.
Right. Usually, the IFR aircraft call for their clearance when they're ready to go.
Mm-hmm.
So usually they're released immediately, and sometimes there's a hold for release if there's an inbound or some other conflict that center has.
Mm-hmm.
And then there will be a hold for release clearance, and sometimes there's a clearance void time.
Gotcha.
So, but usually it's, it will be directly relayed, and then they're good to go.
Cool. What's the most annoying thing pilots do, as far as you're concerned?
Well, some pilots talk too much. They give a lot of unnecessary information, and it's not really annoying as much as it clogs up the frequency when there's a high traffic load.
Gotcha.
And the other thing is when pilots are not familiar with, or they did not familiarize themselves with the Homer Airport.
Mm-hmm.
And so they don't really know what to do and where to go and what the traffic patterns are, what frequency to use. Just 10 minutes ago, this King Air landed and he called me on a different frequency and said, "I'm touching down."
Yeah.
Well, that's great to know, sir, but it would have been wonderful if you would have announced on the traffic frequency when you were about 10 miles out.
Mm-hmm.
For the other traffic to know that you're there.
Mm-hmm.
But some of these things, it makes it harder for everybody if the pilots are not aware what to do and how to properly...
If they're not familiar with the airport and the procedures and...
Right, and it's the pilot's responsibility to familiarize themselves with all that before they,
Yeah, hop in the airplane and go fly.
airspace.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's probably our biggest pet peeve.
Gotcha. Cool.
What about weather? Do you provide any weather services?
Oh, certainly. Yeah, we can do pilot weather briefings. We have access to a lot of information.
So do people actually come up and actually get like a weather briefing?
Yeah, they still do.
Mhm.
Not as much as in the olden days,
Yeah.
before the internet, there was a lot more of that. But yeah, we still have that service available. We can also do it over the phone. We can do it over frequency. That's not 7465 X-ray Homer Radio.
Radio 7465 X-ray over here at Alpha. I'd like to depart to the south on runway 22.
Cessna 65 X-ray, roger. Traffic looks like a Cessna is departing at this time. I'm not sure if he will remain in the pattern. And a flight of 2 Cessnas departed about 3 minutes ago. Do you have information, India?
And Cessna 65 X-ray has information, India.
Awesome. So he just called up. He'll hold short for that 170 taking off, and then...
Cessna back taxi runway 22 down to the old area and depart to the south.
Very good.
So, what do you guys use for weather briefings? Is it kind of like 1-800-weatherbrief.com, or is it a unique program, or?
We have our own software.
Mhm.
However, it's National Weather Service information.
Mm-hmm.
So there's a website. One of them is aviationweather.gov.
Mm-hmm.
It's the same format. There's a special one for Alaska. There's an Alaska Aviation Weather Unit.
Okay.
But it's all the same format. The products look the same.
Sure.
So that's what we use.
Awesome.
Yeah.
And then you record the ATIS every hour?
Either every hour, usually when the new METAR comes out.
Mm-hmm.
If there's a special observation, or if there's a NOTAM issued for work in progress, or any of that, if
You'll do a
anything
special
pertinent changes, then we'll just do another.
Is there certain criteria for like the direction of the
Number 69 November, Homer radio traffic. Cessna departing at this time. He is southbound. Another Cessna in the pattern touch and go landings, runway 22.
Is there a certain criteria for like how much the wind has to change, or how much the
Yes.
pressure would have to change?
Yep. To take a special observation, there's lots of criteria and they're very clear.
Gotcha.
So
X number of degrees, X number of knots, then it gets recorded.
yep. And if the visibility drops or increases and the ceiling,
So all
those are
those-
the things that are most likely to cause us to do a special is visibility and ceiling.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool. How long are your shifts up here?
Our shifts?
Yep.
We usually work 10-hour shifts.
Do you like 2 on, half hour off kind of thing, or?
No, we only have a brief overlap for a couple hours during the day. So usually it's just one person here.
Oh, just one person, 10 hours straight.
So yeah.
Oh wow.
Well, we can take breaks when we have an overlap. But other than that, it's just one person here. In the summer, it's better when you have more than one person, obviously, because it's very busy. And we're open from 6 a.m. to 9:30 p.m. every day.
Okay.
So that's what you use when we call for a wind check?
Yeah, we have that. Actually, we do use that. And that sensor is located over there by that windsock. So it's pretty much in agreement with the windsock usually. The ASOS, the surface observation, also has a wind sensor. But it's not as good as that one, especially if it's gusty or if the wind changes a lot. If it's variable, that one is better. And then you can always just also look outside and look at the windsock. Oh yeah, that makes sense.
Right.
Kind of validate.
So
What's telling
when
you.
people are taxiing out, do you like them to call before they start taxiing out, or during taxi, or when they're holding short, or it doesn't matter?
During taxi, if pilots do a run up, I would suggest it's best you do your run up. That's not 713 Quebec Homer radio traffic. Additional traffic departed southbound about 1 minute ago, and actually additional traffic about 3 minutes ago also southbound. That was a departure, and the landing traffic is doing touch and go landings. Did you have information, India?
Yeah, we have India. I'll be flight 2 westbound.
Okay.
94 Delta down on the gravel, full stop.
So, if you do your run up, you complete your run up, you get ready to taxi, that's a good time to call up.
Okay.
Because otherwise, maybe you call up and we give you traffic advisory, but then you have to do a 10-minute run up and traffic changes. Maybe you're not able to listen to it while you do your run up, and then you do another traffic advisory. So it's best to call up when you're ready to go, pretty much. Number 57 Mike Homer radio traffic. 2 Cessnas departed southbound, one about 4 minutes ago, the other one 2 minutes ago, and 2 Cessnas taxiing out. Will be westbound after departure.
Now, when they call up like over 60-foot rock, does altitude matter at all? Or you guys don't relay altitude as much as just position?
No, we don't, exactly. Sometimes they do say where they are, especially for overflights.
Mm-hmm.
And if the pilots just discuss that amongst themselves, if there's like oppositional direction traffic, they will say, well, I'm at this altitude, and the other ones say, well, okay, I'm going to stay below you.
Mm-hmm.
And that's their responsibility.
Gotcha.
Because we do not have radar, we
Mm-hmm.
cannot validate their
Right.
altitude.
You don't have any sort of mode C receiving, so.
Right. So we just have to relay on what they tell us. It's the same with position, because sometimes they get it wrong. They say I'm 5 northeast, but they're actually 5 southwest.
Yeah, they read the DG backwards.
Yeah.
Yeah. That happens a lot. Yeah.
It does. It just makes it harder for everybody.
Yep.
You know, if you don't even know where you are, how can I give a traffic advisory to the other traffic?
Yeah.
So,
You know, so, yeah.
gotcha. What else? How is there a list of all the flight service stations that are actually at airports somewhere, like in an AFD or in the chart supplement?
They are in the chart supplement, but I don't know if they're listed.
Yeah.
I can probably give you a count. I think there's 14.
Gotcha.
So there's 3 hubs, which is Kenai, Juneau, and Fairbanks.
Mm-hmm.
And there's a Barrow, Cold Bay, Dead Horse, Dillingham, Homer, Iliamna, Ketchikan, Kotzebue, McGrath, Nome, Northway, Palmer, Sitka, and Talkeetna.
Gotcha.
And I think 3 of them are only seasonal, maybe 4 of them.
So when guys call in for a weather brief, are they getting this office, or are they going to get any office? Or
If you call the 1-800 number, you're going to get Kenai.
Okay.
I think if you're closer to Juneau, you'll get Juneau. Somehow it routes you,
Mm-hmm.
you know, because the hubs have a lot more staff.
Yes.
They have people that answer the phone all day. They just do pilot weather briefings, and then other people do the in-flight position, which is what I'm doing. I'm doing everything.
Yeah.
in
You're
a
doing.
small facility.
Yeah.
So if you want a standard pilot weather briefing, you get the best service if you call one of the big hubs.
Yep. Gotcha.
Because we can do them, but we often get interrupted,
Sure.
you know, doing other stuff.
There's no way you can do a briefing with all the people calling in and.
Right, you just, hey, oh, can you hold again? I'm so sorry.
Yeah.
And then you forget where you were. And so for the pilots, I think they get a better service if they just call Kenai in our area.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So if you just need 1 or 2 items, sure, we'd be happy to provide that. That's no problem.
Awesome. Well, very cool.
And then like if you have to get a special, that's you guys issue specials.
Yeah, it's the same thing. It's the same thing like an IFR clearance, but Anchorage Center gives us the authority to relay to special VFR clearances.
But do you ask center or can we ask you for a special?
With the specials, the pilots just ask us, and we don't have to ask center every single time because they just pretty much, as long as there's no IFR inbound,
Mm-hmm. They let you. That's
give
the
us
one.
the authority to manage the special VFR clearance.
And you're only going to have the one special VFR aircraft time, then, kind of like an IFR. Like you'll only have one guy in the airspace at a time.
Yes, that is correct. However, if the pilots agree to maintain visual separation,
Mm-hmm.
all of the aircraft have to agree.
Okay.
Then you can have more than one,
Gotcha.
but no IFR.
No IFR aircraft. So if you have, like, say, 2 in the pattern doing just touch and goes, and they're on special VFR, do they have to land when an IFR is inbound, or?
They have to either land and clear, or they have to clear the airspace.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
So they've got to actually clear the Echo airspace.
Mhm.
Cool.
And the big planes like Raven, they're always on an IFR.
Yes. Sometimes on a VFR day, they may cancel their IFR and just come in VFR when they get closer, but most of the time they just stay on their IFR clearance.
So when they do the special VFR, do you guys issue a squawk code, or do they just stay squawking 1200?
No, they, because under a special VFR clearance, you have to stay clear of clouds.
Mm-hmm.
And you have to stay at or below a certain altitude.
Gotcha.
That's the only instructions we give them.
Okay.
And they need to maintain special VFR conditions, which is at least 1 mile flight visibility and clear of clouds.
Gotcha.
And the special VFR clearance is essentially just for either departing the airport, arriving at the airport, or transitioning the traffic pattern. And that is assuming that once they are outside of the Class Echo surface area, they're actually in VFR conditions. Because otherwise it wouldn't make sense. They just need an IFR clearance, essentially.
Say if I took off out of here and I thought it was better out over the bay or something, and I take off and I realize it's worse, can I call you guys and get an IFR clearance? Airborne, or is it best to try to get a hold of center directly for a pop-up clearance?
If you're already in the air and you're still maintaining VFR, just calling for center directly.
Okay.
That's the easiest way to do it, and that's how they like it handled if you're already in the air.
They'd rather you just call center, get a pop-up IFR, not do the full flight plan with you guys?
Yeah, just because it takes a long time.
Right, once you're airborne to relay a flight plan.
And it's hard, then I have to ask for a clearance from a certain either fix or...
Right.
And it's just easier if the pilot directly
gets the
talks
pop-up
with
IFR
center.
clearance right from center,
Yeah,
yep.
rather than relaying it through...
And you've got a
third
center
person.
RCO at the field, right?
Yes.
Yep. So they'd be able to talk to... They might not see him on the radar, but they'd get him on the radio anyways. And could climb up.
Yep.
Awesome.
Yep, that works really well. So.
Perfect. Got any more questions, Steph?
I don't think so. And I'm Stephanie, by the way, from 62 Delta.
Oh, hi. It's so nice to meet
Nice
you.
to meet you.
Yeah.
Thank
Put
you
the
so much for all your
voice to the face.
Yeah.
Are you guys normal FAA, air traffic control, same union, same all that?
Yes. Yep. Yeah, thankfully we're not contracted.
Yeah. Do they contract flight service stations, or are they all FAA controlled?
In Alaska, they're all FAA. In
Gotcha.
the lower 48, they're contracted. And I think
With
they're down
Lidos
to-
or something now?
Yeah, they're Lidos now, and I think they're down to 3.
Yeah, what three are in the lower 48?
I think Fort Worth, Prescott, and DC.
Okay.
Yeah, I think those are the 3.
DC's probably not even at an airport, unless it's at a small field.
I think none of them are at airports.
Yeah, they're all
just-
remote locations.
Yeah, they're just big dark rooms, I
Yeah.
think.
Yeah. So there's a little look for you inside of a flight service station, what's going on inside, and a little bit of helpful tips from the briefer herself. Now, if you have any questions on this, go ahead and leave it in the comments right below. You know what to do. Like the video. If you haven't subscribed already, hit that subscribe button. And if you can't fly every day, then fly at MikeAlpha.com. We'll see y'all next time.